It's been about a week since my first chemo treatment, and I'm doing something a little out of the mainstream. I'm sharing this journey here for my fellow fighters. So many brave cancer survivors and thrivers do this on this platform, and I'm just adding to the library. I did something most patients don't do, and no doctor will suggest. I fasted on purpose before and after my infusion. And here's how week one went. There was a win, a crisis, a trip to urgent care that I didn't see coming. To be clear, I'm a patient, not a doctor. What I'm doing has research behind it, but it's not mainstream. And I'm following my care team's advice to the letter the whole way through, and they know exactly what I'm doing. I won't say everybody on my team has a ton of buy-in, but they're going along with me, and maybe in some cases just humoring me. And they've given me plenty of red flags to watch for. My dietitian and my oncology nurse were both familiar with this protocol, but neither had actually worked with a patient attempting it. And that's the word they used, attempting it. So more on that in a minute. Some context first. I'm being treated for lymphoma in my head. It's my third bout with cancer. And yeah, it's really all in my head and always has been. But the second time around is when I got serious about healthy eating. And that's the key to this whole thing. Because my mantra is food is fuel, food is medicine, and food can also be poison. It's really important. When I got on this bandwagon, I realized the American food system is not optimized for health in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? My car runs like garbage if I don't put good fuel in it, and I'm no different. That mindset led me to keto, which I've been on for over 18 months, and it has made a real positive difference in my life. And it's also what's made this next part workable. So here's the deal. I fasted for 48 hours before my infusion and 24 hours after. It's called the Valter Longo protocol, and it's been studied in animal trials and some small human studies with positive results so far. Now, people call it keto challenging. This is next level. I only committed to doing this for the first round just to see how it goes. And I'll share whether I'll do it again and what I'd change. But here's the thing. I have an amazing care team, but this isn't something they would have ever even thought to bring up, which is why it's really important to educate and advocate for yourself. But do not leave your care team in the dark on extra things you're doing. That can be dangerous. So why am I putting myself through all this extra stress? Because not eating for 3 days and doing chemo is no walk in the park. Studies suggest that a fast this long pushes healthy cells all over the body into a defensive mode. They mostly stop dividing and they hunker down to protect themselves. It's kind of survival mode. Cancer cells don't get that memo. They just keep doing what they do, dividing and growing, and that's their Achilles heel. Because chemo drugs, if you're here, I'm sure you already know, they go after those fast dividing cells, but they don't really know the difference between healthy cells and cancerous ones. So when healthy cells aren't dividing much, the drugs end up focused more on cancer that's still active. So the theory, more damage to the cancer, less damage to me, faster recovery between sessions, and hopefully healthier overall. Now, if you want to keep track of how this goes, consider subscribing. I'll post on this cancer journey and especially this part of it from time to time. Like anything in this fight, there are real dangers to this approach, and this fasting thing, malnutrition, is a big one. But my team and I know the warning signs, and we can adjust as needed. And a few things did come up, which I'll get into. Was not all a bed of roses. But thankfully, my dietitian understands the protocol, and I've been leaning on her expertise. This is not something to attempt freelance. Do not. Since my keto routine already includes intermittent fasting, my body was more prepared for this break in nutrition than it might have otherwise have been. Without that background, I'm not sure I could have done it. So here we are. I'm patient number one in this from my entire medical team, and they're using the word attempt. So what actually counts as a win here? The biggest outward sign will be how well I recover after an infusion. Most people report a roller coaster, low energy, no appetite, feeling miserable for days to a week. And the second question, am I dealing with any new side effects on top of that? So here's how it actually went 1 week out. First, I'll start with the worst thing, and I did not see it coming. I had a serious case of constipation, and I went from Friday to Wednesday night without a bowel movement, and I ended up at urgent care just to get some relief. It took several OTC drugs and some extreme intervention to get things moving again. Both diarrhea and constipation are possible side effects of the chemo drugs themselves. So stacking a major disruption to my digestion on top of that complicates things even further, and it did. Things aren't still fully back to normal, if you know what I mean, but we're getting there. The second thing I did expect. By day 2 of the fast, I was low in energy, not feeling great. Chemo day, even before treatment started, I felt like crap, and it didn't get better that night. My body was just screaming for some nutrition. But here's the thing, though, the thing I kept in mind. I was going to feel bad at some point either way, up front or after the fact. And I chose up front, hoping the payoff would be my cells would be better protected against the drugs. And once I broke that fast, that wrung out towel feeling faded. But here's a mistake I made that probably added to the constipation. To break the fast, I ate a huge breakfast, then a lunch, which I don't normally do. So I went from an empty digestive tract to a big slug of food all at once, and I think I'd moved through my system way too fast. That said, by that first night after treatment, I felt really good. Now, I'm an evening person. I always feel best later in the day, so that may have been part of it. The next 2 days, my energy was low. I was just generally tired, kind of like I'd worked a long day all day. But beyond some low-level nausea I'm managing with a couple of meds, I didn't feel sick, and I never threw up. And it's really hard to say exactly how much the digestive issues affected my overall well-being, but I haven't had that after-the-fact roller coaster crash that so many people described. I was low-level active the whole week. I did small projects around the house. I went shopping. I even did a little gig work that I do from time to time. It does take me longer to get going in the mornings. Again, I'm an evening person, not a morning person. And once my gut started working again, I felt about 90% of normal. So it was a roller coaster week, but I chose the roller coaster. So yeah, I'm doing it again for round 2 with some changes. I'm calling it a win with some tough innings. But how do I make those tough innings a little less tough? So last time, I ate a huge meal right before the fast, like I'd never eat again. And I don't usually eat that way, and it probably set the stage for constipation. So this time I'll taper down beforehand, and then when I break the fast, I'll start with something small and easy to digest, and then have a few small meals through that first day instead of just diving right back in. And I'll pay attention faster to the subtle warning signs my body gave me last time that I brushed off. And if things start backing up or not going well again, I'll get professional help quicker. And I'll stay on Miralax through the whole process, and I'll keep myself very hydrated just to keep things, so we say, loose. Now, none of this cancer fight is easy. But for me, taking some control and actively participating like this is also good for my mental health, because it's really hard for me just to be a passenger. And as tough as this is, if doing this gives my body the best possible shot at a good long-term outcome, it'll be worth it. What do you think? Is this just too crazy? It's not eating when you're in the middle of a medical crisis, just nuts. So let me know what you think. And if you have any experience with this, I'd really love to hear that. Thanks, and be safe.